During the month of February, Sylacauga City Schools is honoring its school counselors, and we welcome this morning to our studios, Rachel Sherbert from Sylacauga High School and Kristen Elliff from Sylacauga High School. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Kristen Elliff and Rachel Sherbert. Tell us a little bit, we'll begin with you. What do you guys actually do? Some of your background to begin with.
Well, my background as far as I started out teaching, taught 20 years. I was at Fayetteville for 20 years, 9 years as a high school counselor there, and then went to Sylacauga High School last year as a counselor. So been in education for a lot of years now. Taught elementary for most of that 14 years or so before going into counseling, as far as my background.
Okay.
Yes, and I also taught at Fayetteville with Ms. Sherbert for many years. We both taught 4th grade, and so I started out my career there, taught 10 years, and I've been a school counselor this is my 15th year. And
what do counselors actually do at Sylacauga High School?
We have a wide range of services. First of all, we do some immediate response with students. When students are dealing with difficult situations, that's our first and foremost priority, is to help those students, all students, any of them that, need us for different counseling sessions. We try to meet all of those needs, of course. And then, of course, we have the things as far as helping with scheduling, helping with college and career, trying to get them ready for college or career, that readiness thing. We've done different meetings. We start off with 8th graders every year to where we go over to Nichols Lawson and do individual meetings with the 8th graders in order to help them kind of prepare for what their what their high school courses are going to be, to try to help them develop some type of pathway. Then we go we're meeting with seniors right now, actually. We're all splitting up and meeting with those seniors and trying to figure out what their plans are so that if they need assistance, whether it be their plans to go to college or their plans to join the military or even just go into the workforce. Have you done your college application? Do you need any type of workforce training that we could help you seek? Military, do you need to talk to a recruiter, ASVAB scores? So we just kind of
we do a lot. We do collaboration with other organizations as well. We work closely with Alta Point here in Sylacauga, which is formerly Chihuahua Mental Health Services, and we partner with them. They help provide services for students at our school. Our Career Tech program, our relationship with them, that helps us to interact with our community, and so we also have just a lot of little things going on. We try to get out into the school a lot more. We just try to make connections with the students. We just try to be visible.
Make the students feel good that you guys are coming out to meet them where they are.
Sometimes just a good morning. Our office is pretty busy. We have students in and out all day long. Sometimes before the bell rings up until, we've had students in there till 4:30 and 5 o'clock before. Our parents just getting assistance. Like I said, some of those wide range, we have FAFSA things. We've helped parents and students complete their FAFSA, which is the financial aid to help them get Pell Grants and scholarships and, financial aid loans for colleges. Do meetings after school for that to try to help those parents, because that is a very difficult process. So our goal is just to meet the needs of all students and not just certain students.
Right. Now, how many students do you guys serve there?
It's about 670-ish right now, about 670 to 700, depending on the enrollment.
And Kristen, everyone student has a different personality, and you have to have a good listening ear too.
Right. Sometimes that's really just what the students need, and parents as well. We work a lot with parents. We're there to provide guidance not only for the students but also for the parents, and so many times the students and the parents just need someone to listen, not to give so much advice, but just to listen. And that takes some skill sometimes to stay focused and be able to do that.
Rachel, things have changed a little bit, I would say a lot, in the last 10 to 15 years. How do we address some of these issues that young people are facing today and getting ready for their future?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest issues that we've seen change is the use of social media. and trying to advise kids on the proper way to use it and the mature way to use it. And sometimes, we have to tell kids, you really need to take a break from it for a couple of weeks and just kind of, chill from that. Because I think, a lot of times they're handed this device, but no one tells them really how to handle it. And so they'll tend to post things that, may not be as the most appropriate, or may hurt someone else's feelings. And a lot of times we deal with some of those things of, and we can't necessarily, take your phone or anything like that, of course, but just try to advise them on the proper way to handle that and how that's going to affect their future. Because there are a lot of scholarship people, college people, workforce, military even, that's going to go and pull like their Facebook page or their Twitter account, Instagram, and they're going to look at those things and see what type of things those students are posting, and just try to make them aware
Kristen,
of that.
a lot of times we don't think about that.
Right.
We're having a good time,
Right,
but our future can depend on a lot of different things.
That's right. And there's been a big rise in anxiety in teens and children, and a lot of that I think is attributed to the use of social media and just the
pressures that come with it.
You're right.
Some of the counseling that you do with seniors as they get set to go into the workforce or further their education.
Right. Well, as I was saying, right now we're doing one-on-one meetings. We started actually, it started last year when they were juniors, trying to just get their plans, see what they're wanting to do. Part of that is the FAFSA process, as I described earlier, where we go into the classrooms, every one of the senior advisories, and we help them get started with creating that account, creating their passwords and everything, and then kind of walking them through how to do that process. And then we do parent meetings after school during that time as well, and to assist those parents in getting that process done. And just throughout the year, there's recommendation letters, there's scholarship information, there is college applications, all types of things. Seniors take up probably the majority of our time because we are spending a lot of time trying to help them get into the next chapter of their lives. But like right now, we're meeting with them, trying to see what their plans are, and we've actually had to kind of separate it out between us and administration because we have roughly about 170 seniors, and everyone is meeting individually. And we have a form to where they're writing down for us what their plans are, or they're not real sure, or they haven't done their housing yet and they're a little confused on that process. And then Kristen and I will get with them after we get all of those forms back in, the ones that need that extra help. We're printing curriculums for them, trying to help them decide what classes maybe they want to take in the fall. And our students that are wanting to go into the workforce, we have a few that are wanting to do like lineman stuff. So we're looking into some lineman schools, trying to do some research there and get them the appropriate training. Like I said, military, we have some students that are going to join the branches of the military, so trying to communicate with the different representatives from there, the recruiters. So
I've really enjoyed those one-on-one interviews because it gives us the opportunity to not only just have that interaction with the student, but we start recognizing what they haven't done.
Right.
And it gives us an opportunity to follow up and to contact the parents and to help them with the things that they need help with. Because, for example, we noticed that there were students who had not applied for their FAFSA, but they had applied for scholarships. But in order to be eligible for a scholarship, they have to. Many of the scholarships they have to apply for the FAFSA. So it just helps us to really follow up and to be sure that they're doing everything that they need to be doing to help better them and prepare them for their next step.
Talk about the underclassmen at Sylacauga High School and how you begin to reach them and prepare them for their senior year and afterwards.
Well, like I said, we start off with starting in April, actually March the 22nd to be exact. We're going to have our 8th graders come over, and we're going to do just kind of a general meeting with them, go over a few things. Then that afternoon, have a parent night to go over some things with those parents as well. Just the transcript process, the different pathways that our school offers as far as career tech. We have several different pathways, just a wonderful career tech program. And then we will go over and meet with them starting in the 1st of April after that particular meeting in March. And we will meet one-on-one with them as well. We'll have their registration form. We'll have lots of different tools. There are different scores and things there to try to help them determine what courses and which pathway they would like to start off with at the high school, and kind of just walk them through that registration process too, tell them what to do there. Then of course when they get to the high school, I have to keep talking. You want to carry over? I'm sorry.
How big a step is it from 8th grade to a freshman in high school?
Oh, it's a big step, and one of our goals is focusing on 9th grade discipline, because there's that transition there from 8th to 9th grade, and I think that's a strategy I think that the two of us can work on, maybe doing some more classroom type guidance to go in and prepare them a little bit more about the procedures and the policies. We, as a counselor, we also pair with our career prep teachers. Right now, I went in last semester and taught a lesson on financial aid starting in the 9th grade, preparing for college in the 9th grade. So it's a big jump.
It is.
That social, emotional level is not quite what it should be at that time, and
sometimes
so it's just
it can be, I guess, intimidating.
It is. It's very intimidating for them to come into the hallways, and the older kids, the bell rings, and you can just see their faces, and it is very intimidating.
Right.
So
and they have
trying to help them.
a summer program where it helps the students transition in, and so this is my first year at Sylacauga High School, so I wasn't a part of that last year, but it's very similar to what we had from at Pinecrest from 5th grade to 6th grade, that jump start where they come in and get to spend a little time in the school.
All right. We appreciate you both being here this morning, Kristen Elliff and also Rachel Sherbert. They're both counselors over at Sylacauga High School, and this is honoring Counselors Month, and Sylacauga City Schools is doing this, and there are quite a number of counselors that are involved in this, right?
Yes, we have 2 counselors at the high school this year, and this is thanks to our Board of Education, our superintendent, central office personnel. We have increased our counselors. We're trying to get more counselors there to be able to assist all of those students, because it's a lot of students. So this year they put 2 counselors at the high school, 2 counselors at the middle school, and then do we have one at each of the other schools as well. So yes, we're trying to increase that so that we can offer
Kristen,
more services.
talk about winning the trust of these students.
Well, and I think a lot of that just comes from interaction with them, and that's why we're really trying to make an effort to be out in the hallways, to be in the lunchroom. The only way to build that trust is to get to know the students.
Right.
And I have been fortunate in that I had the students at Pinecrest, so I'm very
their history a little bit.
I know a little bit about them, and I think what I found is kids are still kids. They're just still kids, and they want that trust factor. They want that connection with an adult. So we just are there we want parents and we want students to know that we're not here just to help seniors. We're here to help everyone.
All
and
students.
We don't want students to feel intimidated, but we have to get our face out there to let them know who we are if we're going to want them to come to us.
And Rachel, not only is it parents, but it's grandparents. A lot of grandparents are raising their grandchildren today.
Yes, absolutely. And that is an adjustment because, they should be able to be grandparents. And so they're tired a lot of times. So that is an adjustment for them. And sometimes we've had to, discuss with grandparents and just try to help them and advise them. We do a good bit of parenting advice. We do have a good bit of parents to come in and just say, hey, my child's dealing with this. Do you have any suggestions, any advice? And sometimes it's just to listen to the parents because they're struggling. We all live in a pressure society. And so, we try to help in any way that we can. And you're talking about, I think the hardest transition for me coming from a school that I was at for 20 years, and I watched those kids grow up because it was a K-12 school, and I had those relationships. It was a huge transition last year to go into a school where I did not know the students, and that I was trying to develop that trust and those relationships, and even with parents, all the parents at Fatful knew me. Right. So, I'm still in the process of trying to develop those relationships and get that trust from students and from parents. So, it's been a huge help, though, to have Kristen come in this year because, there's been times when I've been like, Kristen, let's talk about this kid because you probably know them better than I. So, it's been wonderful to have her to communicate with and to collaborate, to try to come up with the best way to help that student or that parent.
It's got to make you both feel like you're really accomplishing something to see these kids take that next step.
Yes.
And to see the smile on their face that, hey, somebody cares about me.
Right.
Right, and I think that's probably the best feeling for any educator.
Absolutely.
Is when you run into a student after they've graduated, and whether you're a high school counselor, an elementary counselor, and for them to come and say, you had an impact in my life,
absolutely.
or the school system had an impact in my life. I think that's very rewarding. And there are a lot of things that, we have done to reach out to students, and probably one of our greatest tools has been the use of technology. We really want to move forward in that area as far as like social media.
What a tool to use,
Well, the Google has been great for us, and so we are able to use Google Docs and Google Forms to share with the students. We're getting input and feedback from them using that, so that's been helpful. But we have a guidance advisory team that we formed, and it's made up of parents and administrator and students. And some of the best feedback came from our students, and they shared with us that some ways that they thought we could get out the information. And they talked about us placing a reader board in our school to put out our information. They talked with us about the use of social media, which we're probably not as up on, but so we're thinking about allowing students, having student ambassadors next year to help us get out that information.
Right.
So just using
more effective ways to communicate, just to be more effective with our communication with students and with parents, because it is difficult at times to make sure that they get the information they need when you have that many students in so many different areas within the school. We have dual enrollment, so we have kids that leave the school to go to other areas to take classes, whether it be CAC or, through UA, as far as online things in JSU. So just to try to figure out the best way to communicate with them and get the information out there. And I think that's probably been one of our biggest struggles, other than getting out there. And we still have a lot of goals. We have a vision. We want to do more of the getting out there and communicating with kids and developing those relationships. And I think we're on the right path with both of us developing that program. Still have a long way we feel to go, but
I still have that love of teaching and wanting to be with the students, and so we're really trying to find more time and more opportunities to go into the classroom. Our advisories that we have at the high school allow a little bit more for that, for us to go in. I think Ms. Sherbert talked about the FAFSA process and how we were able to go to every classroom and meet with every student. But we have lots of responsibilities, but our goal is to be able to go out to the students and not wait for students to come to us.
Thank you both for being here this morning.
Thank you
It's our honor
so
to have
very
you.
much.
Kristen Elliff and also Rachel Sherbert, our guests this morning. They're both counselors at Sylacauga High School, and I hope you guys have a great counseling day today.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for having us.
More Daybreak coming up right after this.